Migrating to a new year, we quote Snoop Dogg. Get in where you fit in. So where do we see ourselves in this muddy swirl? I have a 3-section map of the universe. It's nothing but dots. One of those dots is the Milky Way. On that dot is a thought. That thought is our solar system. On that thought is a suggestion. That suggestion is Earth. We scan it for a second, point to a suggestion on a thought on a dot and say, "That's me. Wait, who's that next to me?" Why, it's you. Welcome to Bullshark, original songs, true stories. Today's theme, better a Woodstock blast than moving too fast with an uneven bar gymnast. Today's riff, places we go. I have a friend who's high-tech, the highest, but his first love is down low, bottom of the sea. He's a master diver, underwater photographer, scrutineer of what do we have here. He told me about cases of cognac sunk in the St. Lawrence. You have no idea, he told me, of the buzz you get from cognac chilled in a shipwreck from 1914. True, but I have seen the Perseids under Northern Lights. Heat lightning tending the door, narcosis of the deep woods, forever in my veins. It's very hard to know when you meet somebody whether or not you really have anything in common. And Chloe and I have infinity in common. Chloe, what were you doing your 20th summer?
Well, I always call it escaping to the circus. I left and went. I left Toronto, and I went to march in a drum and bugle corps in the U.S. in New Jersey, and I spent most of my time, indulging in performance art for a good, I'd say, 2.5, maybe 3 months. Well, let's see, May to I came home at the end of August, so however long that is.
Okay, but here's the crux of it. Okay. How many hours a day did you spend practicing on asphalt?
Well, how about this? We slept for 6 hours a day.
And practicing outdoors on asphalt?
And sometimes.
Okay.
On asphalt.
And what was the accommodation like? You guys were traveling on private jets?
Yeah, no. Buses that often broke down, with food trucks that often broke down, and sleeping on gym floors in a sleeping bag.
And what about the highbrow menu? What was on the highbrow menu every day?
Actually, well, we didn't eat too badly eventually. But it started off, well, when I first went down, I had to be in the core, quote unquote, the core, like clubhouse kind of a thing, which was actually a church community center run by nuns. But why do you keep doing that?
That's a nun singing circus
music. It's not a circus. Listen. So anyway, one of the girls that was when we were trying out to actually make the cut. If anybody's seen Drumline on Netflix, it literally was that. You had to make the cut. And she was feeding us really well, this one girl, and then she left. So 1 week before we went on tour, we basically ate whatever we could find, and we lived for the last 3 days on, I think it was Carnation Instant Breakfast, or we found some like hot chocolate. I think it was hot chocolate in packages.
And how did the rest of the corps feel about you usurping somebody that they thought was going to be starting in the show?
Well, she wasn't going to be starting. We were all basically trying out at that point. So this girl that fed us, she didn't make the cut, but they put me as a replacement for this girl that was supposed to be there and didn't show up until later.
Mm-hmm. And how popular did that make you?
Yeah, that made me not popular.
So
at all.
So we've heard about Chloe's percussive summer,
Yeah.
You didn't hear the part about her winning a championship in front of 60,000
Okay, yeah,
people
but
in
they've
Miami.
heard that before.
No, well, okay, but they can hear it again.
So we finally won, and people liked me when I got back to Canada. I was somewhat of a celebrity in those crowds, like in the drum corps crowds, whatever that means. I won. We won. We won the thing. It's like the Super Bowl. Yay.
So going back to our similarities, this was my percussive summer. My 16th summer, I was getting nowhere, so I went somewhere. I went back to the Lièvre River. I brought a set of drums, a reel-to-reel, and stacks of tapes. I shrugged off the mystery pool of blood in the back bedroom as spirits rumbling around, and I slept on a beat-up couch. Mornings, I made pancakes with canned peaches and fried ham, and then I would go into the enclosed porch with a pair of jeans and my Kodiaks, and for Chloe's 14 hours on asphalt, I spent probably 14 to 16 hours in the enclosed porch playing with everything from Hawaii 5-0 to Painted Black.
But you also ate better than us.
Well, one meal a day at least. I actually starved in the end.
True.
And our lot was very isolated. It was a 100-yard peninsula where the river fed into a swamp out back. When it got dark, I'd build a fire and I'd stay out till manifestation drove me inside. Because baseball has the warmest tone of any broadcast sport, I spent every night listening to the Expos from Jerry Park in Montreal and became a huge baseball fan. My last night alone in the bush with my drum kit and my Kodiaks and my jeans, there was a massive storm. It was apocalyptic. Now, I'd seen pictures of a tornado that had ripped by Masson, which was nearby. The walls were laid out like flaps on a box with the windows and chimney smoke painted on. So while the storm was going on, I stood in the porch doorway, watching lightning in the swamp at ground level, and every time I saw a flash, I thought there was somebody behind the trees coming to get me. So the next lightning flash, I'd see there was no one behind the first tree, but god damn it, there was someone behind the second tree. The lights kept flaring, and then they'd go almost off, and every time that happened, the hair on my neck stood up. The picture window billowed like a sail, tiles creaked, where there was nobody else but me. The oil tank out back clanged, and it was a night of fire and flood. At sunrise, the storm finally moved on and didn't take me with it. I was just falling asleep when I heard pounding on the door. It was a neighbor who had arrived in the middle of the night. Looking at him through barely open eyes, he told me, "See that guy across the river? Well, he's drowning, and you've got the only boat." I didn't have any training as a canoeist at all, had no life jackets, no common sense, but I was at least smart enough to paddle into the log jam where he was hanging on to timber from the mill and tow him to shore. By the time my dad got there, I was packed and ready to go. That's my percussive summer.
That's a first responder.
As a first responder. Second drummer in a band that couldn't play. Moving on. It's a man a thing to believe. I think I will. It's a man I read and believe. I think I will. Some man of hungry little hearts to feed. Why does your love rain down on me? So many lessons to learn. I think I'm lying. So many badges to earn on this fledgling night. So many happy little maps to read. Why does your love spank down on me? There's a backhoe on my windowsill, making mountain of a man, living on roadkill, living on roadkill, living on roadkill. It's a backlog crackpot, jabberwocker wet, butter wouldn't melt in your flame by now. Black bear, brown bear, grizzly bear, gummy, chunky panda, candy man, just picked up your mama. She a roadkill thrill on a dangerous hill, danger route from out of the blue, jumping, thumping, bumping. There's a backhoe on my windowsill, make a mountain of a man, living on roadkill, living on roadkill, living on roadkill. It's a backlog crackpot, jabber like a rocket, but I wouldn't melt in the flame by now. So many seasons to see, I think I will. So many reasons to breathe, I think I will. So many funky little chunks to read. Why does your love rain down on me? Muskrat, squish, fat, radio cuisine, good jit over here, all in these greens. There's a backhoe on my windowsill, make a mountain of man, living on. Give me back, give me back, give me back, Jimmy Jack, Jimmy Jack, Jimmy Jack, Jimmy Jack. Give me that skinny back, skinny back, skinny back wheel. Shimmy back, give me my rope key. Let it roll on and I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. The journey continues. The first time I went to a strip club, I was 15. I didn't go by myself. I didn't just go downtown and go to a strip club. My sister's ex-jock washout got me drunk the night before their wedding. I was flattered that a beautiful black girl in a G-string and heels sat with me, chatted sweetly, shared my beer. The attitude of the fiancé and the groomsmen really bothered me. They were very mocking, really disrespectful, and mean. I've been to a strip club once since then, and it was pathetic. Men paying to pretend the dancers are their prom queen girlfriends. Me being me, all I could think was, man, I'd like to see her in jeans and a sweater. I'd sit at the table with my hands over my glass so the table dancer wouldn't get any hair in my drink.
Ew. That's so gross.
The last time I went, I had turned down countless invites, and one night we'd gone to a fight. My friend said, "One drink and we leave. It's not like you think it is. Not at all, you'll see." Really? I was hanging my coat on my chair when a tiny woman in big shoes came charging out of nowhere. She launched herself at the girl next to me so hard I heard the other girl's jaw crack. In seconds, there were 6 girls in the brawl. While I stood holding my coat like a matador, naked women beat hell of each other inches away. One of my friends, an artist, was knee-deep in the foamy grind, trying to pull girls apart. Ever paint that seascape, you fucker? Oh well, always a bridesmaid.
Mexican street dog on a four-leaf clover. Won't you please tell my Juanita, come on over. I like the things she does, shooting bottles off a bar. She's being so good, I've been so bad, so far. Masculine fever dolls on a 2-day showdown. Won't you please tell Carmelita, let's try a little downtown. I'm crazy about that trick. She does things that's only sexy, such as my tiger cages and other things. She's being so slick, she's being so smooth, she's being so hard. Two-headed woman, may I take me home? Lift up your kilt and let the buffalo roam. My mamacita, and drop it, dub it, dub it, dub it, dub. I ain't no street for love, in this delusion love. Red Rover, bring the cheetah colors on it. We ought to get lost in a breakdown, just like a fever dog on a 9-day nosebleed. Won't you please tell my Juanita, let's try a little light spade. I like the things she does. She does things ain't even sexy, messes my heart. Nitrous oxide and laser things. She does that trick and my heart just liquefies.
So, Chloe,
Yeah.
do you remember road trips with your dad?
Well, yes.
Were they fun? Were they
Well,
entertaining? Were they...
You know what? It was like, okay, so road trips with my dad occurred when we lived in Toronto in the furthest east. Well, Pickering wasn't around yet, but we lived in West Hill, so it was going from the east of Toronto, the furthest east of Toronto, to Guelph, and he was going every morning to finish his master's there. So our road trips were to see my Aunt Flora, who actually lived in Guelph as well. And I just remember, because he had a green Volkswagen Beetle, Lou and I would fight over like who got to sleep in the, what's it called, the rumble seat or whatever.
Right.
And was it fun? I wouldn't say so, but you make your fun.
Yeah, I think what always stands up to me most about it knowing your dad and how much he tried to intimidate me first time around, good luck on that, was the whole thought of him driving around in a Volkswagen Beetle with a big flower stuck on it.
Yeah, from like when we first moved in, someone just like stuck a flower power sign.
No, how sweet.
I was like,
So, my road trips with my dad were a whole other event. First challenge was staying on the highway out of a ditch in a river. It was 90 minutes to the cottage in Quebec. I remember one St. John Baptiste Day, there was a mock tar and feathering on the way. There was a pickup truck, a man covered with maple syrup and plush toy Elvises. There were cases of Brador. Easily distracted, my dad skidded off the road, took out a sign, then with that silly me shrug I knew well, he said, whoops, backed up and took off. So a couple minutes later, going too fast on a dirt hill, he blew a tire. Fishtailing a quarter mile, we just missed a dump truck coming off a side road. Minutes after the spare was on, he missed a curve, front wheel dangling over a 15-foot drop to a field. We were literally halfway in the air over a farmer's field. Somehow we got back on the road and made it to the cottage.
that's eventful.
That's an hour. That's 1 hour with my dad.
Yeah.
When he found he'd left the keys at home, he kicked the door in. After every kick, he turned to me. Why do you cause me so much goddamn trouble? I don't know. Maybe after you light the wrong end of your cigarette, spill hot coffee in your crotch, and realize the car's out of gas, we'll figure it out.
These shadows eclipse me by 200 years. Generations of melancholy babies and backlot exorcisms. Ghosts in Kiev, Kelowna, and Yellowknife. Fire and smoke lit, a fight.
Peace River. Sometimes I think it's a curse.
Marshaled from the ruins of a name. A reavoted bloodline, cross-line with despair. Dirty book past half the last page gone and the title forgot.
My father said we'll walk the riverbed at sunset. Carpet of redstones, tied with a redstone with the heat balled up inside. Stupid kid.
He plucked me from that pony ride of indoor-outdoor riptide just as certainty arrived.
Stupid kid.
Crouched on the bank with the hate wall up inside.
Stupid kid. Ain't but the final cardboard of mine. Cannibals on vegetables and goulash. Now he's in the Bowery as a devil for old time.
This prison eludes me by 2,000 miles. Federations of star-crossed lovers and scarecrow power lines. Ghosts in Cleveland, Nashville, Nazareth.
Effigies of smoke
Lake
and lake.
Riot.
Peace River. Sometimes I think it's a
chiseled
cure.
from the ruins of a name. Blue bloods on the back nine, hooligans in the rough. A muddy tonic passed house to house with the label gone and the side effects forgot. My best friend used to ask his dad, why can't we have an ice rink, please? Through the Japanese screen of the Sunday Times drops flies. I used to ask my dad why we couldn't have epiphanies. Through the Japanese screen of a Chinese menu draws fire. Why didn't she come back? Flowers dry.
Who was that girl in the Cadillac?
Door prize. It
Ain't but the dry no tears on the line.
Put in both glass eyes, the gold and the blue. We'll roll out that camera suitcase and fuse.
So that's it for today, but I want to apologize for gaps in the broadcast. In the past year, I wrote a dozen new songs, 30 tracks each. I finished 4 novellas, a 6th novel, and have 160 cartoons. Chloe puts 16 to 20 hours a day in on original design, 24 hours a day in her talent agency, plays live and in the studio. We're committed to true stories and art. You, the back half of Creativity Spooky Lounge, own as much as we do. So listen in next time. Thank you.
And follow us on YouTube and Bandcamp, where we have some amazing songs and a new Christmas song that we launched this season. And until next time, see ya.